You ever come across a piece so far gone, you wonder if it's even worth saving? Well, this dresser right here, she had me questioning everything. Peeling veneer, years of neglect, it was bad. But you know me, I love a challenge. So I rolled up my sleeves, got to work, and gave this piece a whole new life, with a color choice that might just surprise you. I guess this came with. Okay, well, I don't know, I saw this piece and it needs a lot of love. I'm 100% positive that we cannot save the veneer. It's bad. I will show you a close-up here in a second. The drawers are actually in decent condition. Let's see. Solid wood, so that's nice. Dovetail drawers. I actually like the hardware, but yeah, this is going to require some peeling of veneer. Better look at the top. Pretty decent chunk out of here. Maybe I'll be able to save the top and then add a little bit. This is coming out too. I wonder what's under that. It's pretty bad though. And then here's the detail. I don't know, super pretty. Drawers. Got some drawings. What does that say right there? 17th of May. '59? Hard to say. To do a little digging. And then, as you can see, how bad the veneer is. It's bad, especially the bottom one, but it looks like there's some water damage. So I may have to remove it all. Well, actually, more than likely, so. Sometimes a piece tells exactly what it needs. And in this case, the veneer on these drawers made the decision for me. When it starts bubbling and lifting like this, there's no point in trying to salvage it. It's time to just strip and chip it off. Now, I got lucky here. This veneer is practically begging to come off, but that's not always the case. Sometimes I have to use multiple methods, like steaming, soaking, or even heating with a clothes iron to get it to release. But today, I'll take the easy win. This is really the dream scenario, when the veneer peels off in nice big chunks without too much resistance. But don't get too comfortable because you still have some stubborn areas that just don't want to cooperate. This one, however, the veneer isn't quite as bad as the other one. And it could be really hard to get off, so kind of figure out. I really don't want to struggle, but I'm going to give it a try. Now you can see that rather than me stripping off and removing the whole veneer top, I'm deciding to patch it up. Now, the veneer I had on hand obviously isn't a perfect match, but sometimes you just kind of have to roll with what you've got and see where it takes you. The key here is getting a precise fit. I'm cutting these pieces to size and dry fitting them to make sure they sit flush with the existing veneer. And if they're too thick, I can always sand them down a bit later. And I've just got to tell myself, sometimes you just have to trust the process. And maybe add a little prayer overnight in hopes that it will work out. After removing the veneer, what's underneath is this piece of wood that has a ton of holes, and the grain is a little too much. So I am actually going to put some wood filler in here just to give it a little more of a cleaner lines. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking to remove a lot of the unnecessary wood grain. Now that all the veneer repairs are basically done, it's time to prep this piece for either stain or paint. And this is where the patience really pays off, because getting all these details takes some work, but the results are worth it. I'm starting with the easy part, sanding down the flat surfaces with my sander. And this helps remove any leftover finish, smooth out any rough patches, and get it ready for paint, while also removing the finish on the top as well as the legs. I typically like to paint before I stain, and so right here I'm just protecting the top as well as the legs to prevent any paint from getting on them. But if somehow a little paint does get on that area, no big deal. I can just sand that down and just stain away. For this piece, I'm going to be using the primer from Melange Paints to give it a good solid base for the paint to adhere to. It also prevents bleed through, especially in older pieces like this. A light, even coat is all you need, just enough to cover without going too thick. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Time to bring this piece to life with color. I'm using my Fuji sprayer, which gives me that smooth, professional finish. And the color I've chosen, believe it or not, is pretty bold. It's called Spice of Life from Melange Paints. Now, I have to say, this color is something special. It's bold, it's rich, and unfortunately, it's no longer available. But I just knew this dresser needed something with character, something that makes a statement. When using a sprayer, I always like to go in with light, even coats, and the key is to build up the color gradually instead of trying to get full coverage in just one pass. After that first coat, you can already see how much character this color brings to the piece. It's spicy, bold, and full of personality. Exactly what I wanted for this transformation. I'll let this dry and then come back for another coat to deepen the color and smooth everything out. But so far, this one's turning out even better than I imagined. It's gonna be bold, and I love it. There's a couple things that I need to change. And sometimes you don't know that until you paint it. God, my hair. So, the drawers that have that detail that's inset, it's not even on both drawers. The depth of them on the bottom is a little deeper, so I think I'm gonna actually fill those in and then just have a clean slate. Can you see it? The depth of this is not the same here, so we're gonna fill those in. Time to add a little pre-stain. I'm not sure how those will come out, but you know what? I can always paint. So I'm gonna try to stain first to see if I can blend it in, and then we'll go from there. Now this is one step that can make all the difference. Using a wood preconditioner, I guess I called it a pre-stain, but if you ever had stain turn out blotchy, uneven, or way darker in some areas than others, this step is for you. It helps control how the wood absorbs stain, especially on softer woods like pine, birch, or even older pieces with unpredictable grain. Without it, the stain can soak in too deeply in some spots while barely grabbing in others. Once the preconditioner is on, I let it sit for about 5 to 15 minutes, wipe off any excess, and then it's ready for stain. It's an easy step, but trust me, it makes all the difference. And then as you see here, I'm going in with General Finishes Antique Walnut. It's not about perfection. These old pieces have imperfections all over the place. I can handle some, all right? We'll keep working on it, but it's getting there. Just going to distress it a little bit. Just because it is imperfect, it needs So the color on this dresser is obviously already a statement, but I wanted to take it a step further. That's where distressing comes in. No, I don't distress every piece, but this one, it just felt right. It has so much detail, those carved accents, the trim, the legs. Distressing it will bring all of that to life. Give it that aged, time-worn charm that makes vintage pieces so special. So overnight, I had made a decision. So I would come in and start off by giving this piece the protective top coat on the top as well as the legs. But after much thought, I felt like distressing the piece already gave the piece some great character, but I wanted to take it a step further. And instead of stopping where I did is where I just sanded some of the edges, I'm going to be adding a glaze. Not just for the aging look, but to really enhance the details and give this piece some extra depth. So I don't know if I'm going to regret this, but I feel like it needs something. So I'm going to go with a little glaze. Mostly just in the detailed area. I don't even know if you could tell, but in person it does make a little bit of a difference. There's a little more depth and you can see the details a little better. And here it is, the final transformation from a peeling, damaged mess to a bold, vintage-inspired statement piece. This dresser has officially been brought back to life. I knew from the start this dresser needed something dramatic, something with character. This deep, warm red paired with the subtle distressing and that rich glaze gave it just the right amount of vintage charm while still keeping it elegant. The original hardware, absolute perfection. I love when I can keep those little details that remind us of the history behind the piece. And that top, restored and restained, adds the perfect contrast to all that color. This piece is proof that even the most worn down, beat up furniture can have a second life. It just takes some vision, a little patience, and the right techniques to bring it back to life. Thank you so much for following along on this transformation. If you love this project, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what do you think of this bold color choice? Would you have gone this bold, or would you have played it safe?